Roman Reigns is the unified champion, legends returned, celebrities stole the show, and Cody Rhodes is back in WWE. So much happened in the 2-night WrestleManias, and I'm not going to do a play-by-play. There's so much that happened. I'm just going to talk about the things that I enjoyed, the things I didn't enjoy, and just get into all the details like that. But let me just say, this was one of the funnest WrestleManias in a long time, and the best WrestleMania since WrestleMania 31 in 2015. I was never a big fan of the 2-night WrestleMania choice, but this WrestleMania killed it. Night 1 was great, night 2 was great, and it was just overall so much fun, and you didn't get exhausted with a 5-6 hour show. It was really cool, and you got to see a lot of stuff. Some matches didn't really need to happen. I mean, you look at this, the Drew McIntyre match was really just to get Drew McIntyre on the show and showcase him. Same with Omos and Bobby Lashley. Same with the New Day match, although New Day didn't win. But overall, we got so many cool moments and so many fun things, so many good matches on this WrestleMania, and we're going to talk about all of it right now. So we started out night 1 of WrestleMania with the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. It was great to see Shinsuke's entrance on the WrestleMania stage, but Boogs got hurt when he tried to lift up both Usos on his shoulders, and one of the Usos tried to get up on top of the other, and he jumped kind of awkwardly, didn't get fully on him, and that just messed up Boogs' knee. I think it was a quad patella injury, and yeah, that really sucks to see. When I first saw it, I was like, oh man, is he really hurt, or is he just selling? But yeah, he was really hurt, and that was unfortunate. They had to finish the match. 1D hits it, Usos retain. I'm sure the Usos probably would have won anyways. Then the next match was Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, and Happy Corbin, he is talented. Whenever he's in a feud, I really just don't care that much. There's something about Corbin that just really doesn't get me invested. And the thing is with Drew, he definitely deserves a big WrestleMania match. And unfortunately, Happy Corbin is like the best opponent they could do for him. The SmackDown roster is really bad right now. So yeah, unfortunately that had to happen. And Drew got a WrestleMania match against Corbin. Match was decent. Drew obviously gets the win. It's kind of like the whole thing where he had a match with Happy Corbin here at WrestleMania, and he had a match against Jinder Mahal on SummerSlam. Both matches really didn't feel necessary on the show, but you have to showcase the big star that is Drew McIntyre on the show. Can't be disrespecting McIntyre not having him on the show, especially when he beat Brock Lesnar a few years ago. So yeah, he beat Happy Corbin. He was the first ever person to kick out of the End of Days, and figures just fell. First guy to kick out of the End of Days, that's kind of a big deal, and he was on a winning streak too. He hadn't been pinned in quite some time. Drew McIntyre beat him. Looks like there's some dissension between Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, and I think Madcap Moss, you know, he's got a great look. I think he's got some personality. Who knows what he'll become one day when he sheds this gimmick and hopefully gets a Riddick Moss name, changes his name, changes his gimmick. We'll see what happens with him. He won the Andre Battle Royal, but then McIntyre after the match tried to swing the sword at Madcap Moss and he cut the rope. That's kind of Drew's WrestleMania moment here. Then we had the debut of Logan Paul and The Miz teaming up against the Mysterios here, and I was really looking forward to this. As you can see, I've got a Logan Paul custom figure, courtesy of Headeration, who made the head and the body for me, and I got a custom shirt to put on it. Huge shout out to him. But this match was really awesome. One of the best matches of the night. I'm a fan of Logan Paul. I really enjoy the Impulsive podcast, and I've always wanted to see him in WWE, and thankfully we did here, and he was great. He was killing it, hitting the three amigos, did the little Eddie Torn on the top rope and hit the frog splash. He was great in this match. He had a really cool attire on too. Miz won the match with a skull crushing finale on Rey Mysterio, and then they were celebrating after the match, but Miz hit the skull crushing finale on Logan Paul, and it looks like we're going to get Miz versus Logan Paul down the line, possibly if Logan Paul decides he wants to keep wrestling. Hopefully he does. Basically, that was just Miz saying, hey, I used you to get my spot at WrestleMania. I used you to beat the Mysterios. You mean nothing to me. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. They're both kind of heels, I guess. It's not always good guy versus bad guy in real life or in movies or anything, so it doesn't have to be like that in wrestling too. So heel versus heel, it can work as long as they have some story to it. Then we got Big Time Bex versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair had a really cool entrance. She had like this college marching band. That was really cool. And Becky came out with some new hairdo, looking like she raided the closet of Lady Gaga. And this match was pretty damn good. The fans were into this, and the end of the match, the fans popped really hard when Bianca hit the KOD and won the title. I feel like the energy was way better at Money in the Bank when they had their first face-off, or was it Money in the Bank or was it Extreme Rules? It was one of the two. They had, I think, better energy from the crowd back then. They were doing the back and forth chants and whatnot. I mean, it's not the first time they faced, I guess, but this was a really good match. Then Seth Rollins, who was lobbying for a WrestleMania opponent, he found out his opponent, handpicked by Vince McMahon, was Cody Rhodes, coming in from AEW, returning to WWE. He went from undesirable to undeniable and came back, and man, he looked like an absolute star coming down that ramp, stepping into a WWE ring once again with his new look, with the music, everything. This guy's got star written all over him. Everyone's saying he's going to beat Roman Reigns for the title. We'll see about that. I don't know. We'll get into that kind of discussion later in the video. But I think he could definitely be a great opponent for him, and we'll see how that plays out. Maybe a Money in the Bank win. I think that's well overdue. He could have won it in 2013, 2012. But I think him or Austin Theory are front runners for Money in the Bank right now. I definitely see him having a feud with Seth Rollins continuing after WrestleMania. Definitely don't see them throwing Cody to Roman Reigns straight away. Really looking forward to his promo on Raw. But yeah, this match was match of the weekend. I think there were a lot of entertaining matches, but bell to bell, just like wrestling, these guys absolutely killed it. One thing that bothered me was Seth Rollins already kicking out of one Crossroads, and I get that, but like when you're bringing him back and you're gonna have him hit his finisher and already diminish it by having Seth kick out of it, I don't think that was a good move. Then he hit 3 Crossroads in a row. He did the forearms and the bionic elbow as a homage to his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. But yeah, probably the most memorable moment of this two-night WrestleMania was Cody Rhodes returning to WWE, and it was awesome. And it was the worst kept secret, but I think it was like that for a reason, so fans could be anticipating Cody Rhodes coming in. And I think a lot of people were still not sure whether or not he would show up, but I definitely believed it ever since I heard the reports. All the reports are usually right. You know, when WrestleVotes on Twitter says anything, he's usually always right. So I knew Cody Rhodes would be coming in. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do. So many fresh matches for him. He basically did all he could do in AEW. Now he's come back to the big leagues and he's going to do some cool stuff. So many good opponents. Edge, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, some more. Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, run it back with Randy Orton, Riddle. So many good opponents for Cody Rhodes, and I'm super excited. Then we got a match that we thought may main event WrestleMania, but it didn't, and luckily it didn't. It's because it is Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, and they ended up having a screwy finish, so no wonder they didn't main event. And they shouldn't have main evented over Austin anyways, but Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, and initially I thought the Royal Rumble winner Ronda Rousey, and the Royal Rumble winners, none of them won their matches here tonight, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. I initially thought Ronda was gonna win, but then I was thinking, you know what, they're probably gonna put the WWE made Charlotte Flair over Ronda Rousey, the UFC made superstar, and that's what they did here. They're going to continue the feud. There was some shenanigans with the referee. Charlotte Flair tapped out, but the referee didn't see it, and then she got a big boot right to the face, looked pretty nasty and stiff. Big boot to Ronda Rousey. Charlotte Flair retains the title. Also on the show, they had Undertaker come out with his Hall of Fame thing. They did it on both nights where he'd come out and acknowledge the fans, and everyone gets to see him do his entrance. Came out in a suit, which is really cool. Thank you, Taker. What a great career he's had. I think he does need to hang it up now. He doesn't have anything more to prove. Boneyard match was a classic, and yeah, what a career. Hall of Fame speech was really touching too, so that was really nice. And also, Triple H might as well cover it right now. Triple H hung up the boots. He left his boots in the ring on night 2, said thank you to the fans, and man, I grew up on Triple H, him and HBK, the 2002-2003 rivalry, man, that's my childhood. And man, Triple H, such a great performer, and it sucks to see him have to retire here, not with a final match. His final match on TV was with Randy Orton, but yeah, Triple H what a career. Undertaker, what a career. And man, I grew up with these guys, and to see them retire now, it's a bit tough, but we're in a new generation. Time moves on, and we gotta focus on the new guys. But respect to both of these two, and one superstar who is part of this generation, even a little bit before, because these guys went on longer. But Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, came back for a match at WrestleMania. What the hell? Like, who would have thought Stone Cold Steve Austin, after all this time, he could have come back years ago if he was going to do this, but he decides now at 57? To be fair, The Undertaker is 57 too, and he's been going at it, but Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, he had his neck issues, and that's why he retired, and he was content with the match he had with The Rock in 2003, but it was kind of perfect circumstance. Dallas, Texas. Kevin Owens, a great opponent. All he has to do is drink beer and kick some ass, and that's what he did. Promoted his beer line, get that cash. Vince McMahon throwing money at him, and yeah, he rocked up with the shorts and the shirt. Got to cover the beer gut, you know how it is. I mean, he's facing Kevin Owens. He's wearing a shirt and shorts, so why not Stone Cold Steve Austin too? Although it would have been cool to see him in the trunks. But yeah, this match was way more entertaining than I thought it had any business being, and it went on way longer. You know, Austin came out with the ATV. He was just beating the hell out of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens bumping for him, thrown all over the place, fighting in the crowd, throwing Kevin Owens through tables. I didn't think Austin was going to take any bumps. I believe he took a stunner, and he took like a suplex on concrete. Like, what the hell are you doing? A suplex on concrete, that's crazy. And I believe he was suplexing him on the stage too, Kevin Owens. Austin drove Kevin Owens on the ATV up the stage, and they started fighting up there. And throughout the match, he was actually alcohol fueled. He was like fueling himself with alcohol throughout the match, which was really funny. And yeah, WSC did it first. Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold 2019. We did it back then, but they did it here. And yeah, it was really cool. Stunner versus stunner. Great spot for Kevin Owens. I could only imagine if CM Punk returned to WWE instead of going to AEW, he would have had his WrestleMania main event match, and he would have versed Austin here. And I bet he's just kicking himself like, man, geez, that could have been me. But you know what? It is what it is. Kevin Owens, great talent. He definitely deserves this. He deserves to be a way bigger deal than he is, and he's finally getting that recognition here in the main event of WrestleMania, even though it's, I mean, night one main event's kind of not really a real main event. You know, if it was back to one night, they definitely wouldn't be the main event. Roman would be the main event, but great stuff here. Austin wins, stuns Byron Saxton after the match, and this wouldn't be the last time we see Austin. Then we go to night two, and before we do, the stage was awesome. It was just basically a big logo of the WrestleMania sign, and it was really cool, like the way it was angled and just the way it looked in entrances. One of the top 5 best WrestleMania stages. And then we had RK Bro defending the titles against Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. Great triple threat match here. I believe their Raw match with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and the other guys was better, but this was a good match. Really awesome spot from Riddle with the springboard RKO off the top rope to Montez Ford, and then Randy Orton caught Chad Gable midair with an RKO, and these guys retained. Definitely deserve the WrestleMania moment. All the hard work they've been putting in, they've been killing it. I would love them in WSC. I'm afraid they're gonna break up in real life, and then because I like to have my stuff kind of, you know, similar to what's happened in real life. So I'd like to put them in, but I definitely see them breaking up at some point. But Randy Orton is just such a good babyface right now. Fans love him. He's the master of the hot tag. So I don't really know if they're gonna actually turn anyone heel. I kind of don't want to see Randy Orton turn heel, and I don't want to see Riddle turn heel either. I think he would have been a great Money in the Bank winner too. Like, there's so many options for Money in the Bank this year. It's really exciting. Thing is, with Money in the Bank, there's so many great options, but is Roman Reigns really gonna lose the title to anybody? I don't know about that. Then we had the big meaty men slapping meat. Bobby Lashley gets his WrestleMania match. He was just WWE champion a few months ago. Now he's facing the Colossus en masse. This was a really cool matchup here. Obviously, it's not going to be some technical masterpiece or anything, but Bobby Lashley gets the job done. He hits like a spear to the back in the kidneys, and then another spear, and he hit a suplex before that. That really changed the tide of this match, and it looks like they're gonna make Bobby Lashley a babyface. MVP didn't come out with him to the ring. They've been doing all these video packages promoting him kind of in like a good light as a babyface, and I really like Lashley, so I think right now it'd be great for him to be a babyface and challenge Roman Reigns at some point. So yeah, good spot for Lashley here. Then we had one of the funnest matches of WrestleMania, one of the wackiest, just fun matches. Man, this was great. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn was way better than it had any right to be. Wow, this was so much fun. They used all the weapons, look at all these action figure weapons. They used exactly these: table, cookie sheet, fire extinguisher, you name it. They brought out some props. They had the nut kicker. They had the big high five hand. He brought out a taser. He tased Sami Zayn. He got some tongs and grabbed his balls and then threw him through a table of rat traps. Party Boy Pontius got involved, which was hilarious. Wee Man, oh man, I loved Wee Man as a kid. I used to watch Jackass when I was younger, so this was great to see. I loved Wee Man as a kid. So seeing Wee Man just teeing off on Sami Zayn, and then Wee Man actually body slammed Sami Zayn, which was just insane. That was so cool to see. This match was really great, and then it ended with a massive rat trap. They bought a massive rat trap in the ring and basically like trapped Sami Zayn in it so he could pin him. So good. Sami Zayn getting a good spotlight match here. He is so good. This Sami Zayn, I loved babyface Sami Zayn, but this Sami Zayn is just on a whole nother level. Just the character work. He is just so entertaining, and he was the perfect guy to pair up with Johnny Knoxville. And all the celebrity stuff has been great on this WrestleMania. I think we definitely need more of it. Bring in Jake Paul, bring in Conor McGregor, bring in other celebrities that are known, and just bring them in and do fun stuff like this. And I'd love to see it. And people were saying like, why is Intercontinental Champion Ricochet not in it? Why is Finn Balor not in it? Now, Balor wasn't in it because Damian Priest, who would have been his opponent, had other things going on, so that's why they weren't in it. But Ricochet, I mean, Ricochet wasn't in it because there was literally no talent, and people were saying, why not do a Razor Ramon WrestleMania ladder match? I mean, there's literally no talent on the SmackDown roster in the mid-card right now to even make a good ladder match. So, and they were doing an NXT ladder match anyways. So, you know, it is what it is. There was just no opponents. No fault on Ricochet's part. It's just everyone else had other things going on, and that's just is what it is. But this and the Pat McAfee match was one of the funnest matches of the night, and definitely recommend going and checking this out. Then we had the Women's Tag Team Championships, a championship that I think are kind of pointless, to be honest. It's basically just the mid-card championship. Women who aren't fighting for these titles, they just throw in as a tag team and have them fight for these, and this is exactly what happened here with Naomi and Sasha Banks. But Sasha Banks finally gets her first WrestleMania win, which is great, and these women are the tag team champions. Also, shout out to her WrestleMania entrance. I believe she came out with a Lambo, which was really cool. Then we had the dream match, Edge versus AJ Styles, and I had my doubts going in about this match. You know, their build-up hasn't been anything crazy. I think it needs another match to really have the classic match, but they had a good match here. Edge came with a really cool entrance. He ascended from a throne with fire going around him. It was so cool. And then AJ Styles like busted himself open on the way to the ring. He just like walked right face first into the stage when he was walking out. And yeah, he came with a busted open head right before the match. But these guys worked actually a pretty fast-paced style, a lot of like reversals and counters and fast-paced kind of action. It was really good. And then in the end of the match, Damian Priest came out, distracted AJ Styles. Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, got caught with a spear in midair. That was really cool. Edge wins, and the rumors of Edge having a stable are true, and Damian Priest is a part of that stable. Who is going to be in it? I think maybe Dominic Dijakovic, T-Bar, I think will probably be in it. If Ali wants to stay with WWE, they could probably put him in it, but I don't know, that's just a wait and see kind of thing. I don't know how I fully feel about this Edge heel turn and his character. They were calling him the Rated R Superstar. Is he really the Rated R Superstar anymore? Like, this is a completely different Edge. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. I think the best is yet to come. Then we had a match that was cut from night one because there were time constraints, but they put it again on here on Sunday night for the night 2. It was Holland and Sheamus versus the New Day, and again, just like Bobby Lashley, just like Drew McIntyre, it was basically a showcase match for the New Day because Vince McMahon respects the New Day, loves the New Day. New Day are big stars for them. They want to have a spot on WrestleMania, so they put them on there. It was probably supposed to be a New Day versus all three of these guys with Big E, but Big E broke his neck, and I was thinking that New Day would get their revenge on Holland and Sheamus and win this match, but no, they swerved us all. Holland actually gets the win, hits the Northern Grit, and wins the match. New Day were dressed as Big E as an homage to him, and yeah, this was really surprising. Sheamus definitely deserved to be on the card, but I just don't think this match needed to happen on WrestleMania. It's more of a SmackDown match, but Holland, that's really cool that he got the win here. Then we had one of the funnest matches of the night. Pat McAfee, also custom from Headeration. Thank you so much, Headeration, for this custom. Great stuff there. And he versus Austin Theory, first main roster match. I see big things for Austin Theory. Vince McMahon introduced him as future Universal Champion, which also makes me think they're going to keep the Universal Championship and get rid of the WWE Championship, which really sucks because all the history of the WWE Championship, you're going to get rid of it for a championship that's only been around for like 5 years? Like, what the hell? Are they really going to do that? And it seems to be like they're going to do that. Roman Reigns even handed this title off to Paul Heyman and said, "This is my baby." So that's weird. They're going to get rid of the WWE title. And it's interesting. And I think this is a very iconic title design. They've had it for a very long time, but it would be great to have a new championship design too. But getting back to this match, Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. Fans loved Pat McAfee. Oh man, they were singing his theme. His theme is awesome. They had the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders for his entrance, and man, he was like the most over of the weekend. Fans were just buzzing about Pat McAfee during this whole match, and I thought Austin Theory was going to win. I think he's got a big future, so I think looking back on the history of Austin Theory, they would have him have a strong win here at WrestleMania to look back on, but no, he got pinned by Pat McAfee, a roll-up. This was a very good match too, very entertaining match. He got rolled up, and then Vince McMahon got challenged by Pat McAfee. He was just challenging Vince McMahon to take off the suit and come in here, and he did, and Vince McMahon beats Pat McAfee, just hit him with a bunch of clotheslines. Vince McMahon didn't take any damage from Pat McAfee, hit him with a bunch of clotheslines. Austin Theory got involved a little bit, and yeah, they beat Pat McAfee, and then Austin came out. Stone Cold Steve Austin came out, gave a stunner, the best stunner ever to Austin Theory, sold that so well, and then the worst stunner ever to Vince McMahon. Man, he was just flopping all over the place. He was crazy. Stunner, worst stunner, best stunner. And yeah, Austin came out, nostalgia with Vince McMahon and Steve Austin, and great stuff here. Very entertaining little thing there. Definitely wouldn't mind seeing more Pat McAfee in the ring. And then the main event time, they were billing this as the biggest WrestleMania match ever. I mean, we've had it twice before at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the trilogy, the biggest match of this generation. Roman Reigns, they're trying to make him the greatest of all time, and I knew he was going to beat Brock Lesnar here because I know they want to do him versus The Rock next year. Hopefully, if they can get The Rock, they'll do Roman Reigns versus The Rock next year, and that's a big money match. He probably will beat The Rock too, I would assume. But then, like, who beats Roman Reigns? That's the thing. Like, you beat Brock Lesnar, like the strongest guy. Who beats Roman Reigns? Like, I could totally see them having Roman Reigns hold the championship even now and not lose it until WrestleMania next year to versus The Rock, which would be pretty insane. But they could have like a detour where he loses the title from a Money in the Bank cash in and then he gets it back. I could even see like The Rock coming in and accidentally like costing him the title, and that starts the dissension in the family with them. That'd be kind of cool. But talking about the match, Mania 31, they had an incredible match. Mania 34 was dog crap. It was just bad. And then this one was just very short and anticlimactic. It was just like, the match just really started going, and it was kind of just a finisher fest, and the typical Roman Reigns kind of match and the typical Brock Lesnar kind of match. And let me just say, the WSC version of this, I've never done a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match. I guarantee it's going to be better than what we got here at WrestleMania, but this was pretty good. Like, if you look at the match and you really want to judge it, it wasn't very good, but it was all right. The ending was cool. He caught him with a spear and caught him into a Kimura lock. And then he was saying like, oh, my arm, I dislocated my shoulder, but he reached the ropes, kind of with help from Paul Heyman. He kind of pushed the ropes a bit. Then he went for an F5, but he got out, hit him with a spear, and that was it. Beat him clean, like I expected, and then that's just building up Roman Reigns. They want to make this guy the greatest of all time, and I think he's kind of on track. Like, they wasted so many years, and like him as a babyface just really didn't work as the top guy of the company. But now, if we get a few more years of this, there's definitely an argument to say he's like the greatest of all time. He's really killing it right now. This gimmick is awesome. He is just on a whole nother level. He's just a massive star. And yeah, this is really cool. It's just like, who beats Roman Reigns? You know, sometime someone's going to have to beat him, but he's probably the best man for the job to hold the title for a long time. So we'll have to see. Brock Lesnar, who knows where he goes from here. I would love to see kind of Stone Cold come back and verse Roman Reigns or verse Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but I don't think that's gonna happen. He's gonna retire in Dallas, and yeah, but who knows, maybe the money talks, maybe he comes back. I'd say if they don't do a follow-up match with Brock Lesnar again, they should probably have some sort of hardcore match. I think that would have been better than what we got here. I think his opponent will be Drew McIntyre, and then probably Seth Rollins, and then Cody Rhodes. I mean, there's a lot of talent actually for him to face. I was worried there wasn't, but there's a lot. Bobby Lashley, like, there's actually a lot of guys he can face after WrestleMania, so that's good. That'll hold him until like The Rock next year, which will be really cool. But if not The Rock, if Rock doesn't come back, and I know some people were kind of expecting him here, I think that'd just be a little bit random and kind of damper on his moment holding up both titles. I think they'll come like later in the year, maybe SummerSlam or Survivor Series. But if not The Rock, if Rock doesn't come back next year, who does Roman face? Like, I really don't know what's a bigger match for Roman other than The Rock or Brock Lesnar. And then after The Rock, do we try and build the next guy? Is Austin Theory going to be the next guy? Braun Breaker? Like, Gable Steveson? They were pushing that guy down our throats, man. Like, holy crap. Just like, oh, here's Gable Steveson, Olympic guy. Yeah, you know, we'll see how he does. Like, he's an Olympic gold medalist, that's cool, but it takes a lot more to be, like, good in the WWE. Like, Kurt Angle, he had like the personality. He was really good, like in all other aspects than just being a gold medal winner. That's not really what made him a star. So I have to see what Gable Steveson actually brings to the table, but I know they're going to push that guy to the moon. But yeah, this WrestleMania definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Really good stuff. I definitely recommend checking out. Most of the stuff on the show just really fun. Best WrestleMania since WrestleMania 31. Thank you guys for watching this video. Smash the like button, comment down below what you thought of WrestleMania, and I'll see you guys on the next video.